Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Districts. And my name's Susanna, and I live with trains. And today is rail replacement. And you find me at the back end of the layout where you don't normally, well, you haven't seen me round here for a long time. But there is a reason why we are here. So I have Paddington behind me, and he's supervising the work that I'm going to be carrying on, because the work we're going to be doing is back there at St Anne's Station with some changes going on there. And to show you what it was like before you get to see what's happened after, if I've got a cab ride video for just this brief section, I'll show it to you so you can sort of get an idea, or some photographs. I'll try and post some stuff up here. But I've already done some prep work over the week for today's video, but I haven't lifted the track, so I'll go through the current track configuration, because that's pretty much what's going to change, and I'll explain to you why I'm making the changes. So stick around and I will show you what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to be doing it. So enjoy the video. So we'll start at the eastern end of the layout, and over here it's pretty much as it was and is, and it will remain like this. And as I pan you around slowly, you will start to see what I'm going to be doing and which end I'm going to be working on. And as we come to the western end of the layout, you can pretty much see that I've already started some prep work. And so it's this end here, all of this bit here, that I'm going to be working on. And as you can see, I've already removed a lot of it here. And as we get closer, I'll explain to you a bit more. Now at the western end, you can see where this piece is the corner piece, which curves round and marries up to the drop down section. Now that's not actually attached, as you can see, because the tripod is propping it up. But you can also see this is the current track configuration as things stand here, and you can see the porthole and the road bridge which I had going on here. And then you can sort of see how it kind of marries up to here. You can also see that I've added this extension piece here, and it's basically I've cut into the Oasis blocks. So this is an example of an Oasis block, which is what I've used here for the extension. And I use, like I said, use Oasis blocks for my embankment and for scenery work and for hill work and stuff like that. Now, I highly recommend using Oasis blocks. You can, and the reason why I say them, they're mainly used for flower arranging. You can get them from local florists or garden centres and stuff like that. And you can, I know people use polystyrene and they use chicken wire, or you can use foam or the cardboard webbing. But this, to me, by far is the best way to create hillsides and things like that in quick succession. And the reason why I highly recommend it is you get them in blocks like this, roughly. I mean, obviously this one's been shaped and carved and a little bit, but that's how you get them. Now, it's $1.99 or something like that, just under £2 a block that I was paying. You might be able to get it for cheaper, maybe if you buy it in bulk or something. But the thing being with this is it stands the test of time. And it's proven time and time again that it's stood the test of time. And this is why I love working with this stuff, because like I said, it's very easy to work with. It's easy to shape. You can get a knife and take a sliver off of it. I did do a video on this for the embankment on the Susanna's Come Build With Me. So if you are interested, go and check that video out. I'll see if I can put a little playlist link together for it at the end of the video. And it's one of the first videos I did. And I show you how you can carve these, you can sand these, and they just stand the test of time. Because this is it here, and I've done this, and I did this module, I don't know how many years now, and it's still rock solid. So I use this and then I cover it with plaster cloth, and this is where the state of where this one is, because this is what I've done here. And what I mean by standing the test of time is that you can see that what I've done is I've just cut into the existing blocks that was there and just fed in a new section here and repeated the process. And I've put the Mod Rock on top. This is now solid all the way through, and it's an easy way to do embankments and to do little extensions and things like that. And the thing is, you can also, very easy, that when you do used to come to do your scenery work, you can still poke your trees and stuff like that into it. As you can see, there's holes in it. You can put your trees in there or whatever, put your signals in, and you don't have to do any drilling or anything like that. And it's a great medium to work with. And like I said, if you want to make changes like I've made here, all I did is cut this section out, take the foam board out, and this was one of the pieces that I took out. I saved the foam board piece, took off the plaster cloth that was on top, and I can still reuse that, and you can use that at any time. So I really do recommend working with this stuff. It's absolutely brilliant stuff to work with. So as I spin you around, you can see, like I said, this is the current track formation. And obviously you're probably asking yourself, well, why have we got this bit here then? Well, that's because of the proposal of the new track plan. So I guess it's probably time that I speak to you about what I'm going to be doing and why. Now, if I lift this up a bit more, you'll be able to see exactly what I've been doing. So I'm just going to take these pieces off in front of the camera so you can see how it all comes together, or how you take it all apart. And if I take the road bridge out, and then I take this out, and again this just lifts off. Well, it did lift off, now it's in two pieces, but that's fine. You can now see the exact preparation work, and it becomes much clearer as what I'd like to do. Now if I pan you out even further, you won't be able to see this because obviously I've got this here, but this bit's actually attached. But the plan is to essentially straighten out this kink that I've got going on here. So I'm going to put a curve point here. That feeds into two, and then we're just going to straighten it out all the way down and reattach it down the end. So we haven't got this dog leg going on around here. Straighten it out, pull that bit in slightly, pull this across slightly, extend the platform out on both sides and put a new overbridge in. That's the plan. With me? Right, let's get started. I thought just before we get started, I'd just quickly show you from this side what we've got. And you can see here, this is the Oasis block. Now I've saved this and I've reshaped it, and I've put some new Mod Rock on it, or plaster bandage on it, because it used to come out over here. It used to be further out. So I've trimmed this all back and prepared it. So the platform that's here, that you can see the edge of, that's going to be extended out. Because that was one of the things, it's one of the reasons, another reason why I wanted to do rejig this track plan around here. It's not only just to smoothen it out and take out this dog leg and try and smooth it out a bit, but I also wanted to extend the platforms out as well, because at the moment it's quite short. It's only just 4 coaches. So if I can get about 5 or maybe 6, but I think it's going to be probably more like 5.5. It just gives that little bit of extra room to be able to have slightly longer trains and a bit more margin for error and stuff like that. So this is what we're going to be working on. It's literally between here and here. So I hope you can see from this view what I'm doing here. I'm planning to put this curve point here, but I'm just eyeballing it along here. So those are the 2 tracks, and I'm trying to get, I've just been moving this point forwards and backwards to try and get the alignment correct. So I'm not going to inadvertently put another dog leg in it. So hopefully it should all be relatively straight. by the time it gets to here. So I've just been moving around. I mean, obviously it depends on the track geometry, but I don't really want to mess around with this piece because this is the piece that literally links to the drop down section. So I don't want to misalign this. So I'm just going to leave this one as it is and then just cut it from here or further forward depending on what I need to do here. But as you can see, hopefully, maybe from this angle, might be slightly better, that you can sort of see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to marry up this one with that end and that one going to that one, and just basically, as you can see, just straightening it out. So you can see I've just cleared all the decks and lifted up the point work and everything like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing, just to try and straighten this out. And as you can probably tell from this angle, it's probably the best one. Just trying to marry up those two and straighten those two out to go in there. And that's all I'm literally going to do. And then from then onwards, then I can sort of extend the platform out and all the rest of it and build up the platform again. So as you can see in this next phase, I've now aligned the track. And as you can see, it's pretty straight and it's really nicely aligned actually. I'm really pleased with that. And that just going to give me so much more space for trains. I'll just take you around the corner and then you can sort of see what it's like from this end. So that's going to straighten out that. So I can now, I mean, it's only loosely pinned. It's not pinned down properly by any stretch of imagination, because I'm going to level it all out with the ballast. And what I want to do is start building the platforms. Now I know where the track exactly is going to go, I can then start building these platforms in, and then essentially that will then create a sort of wall to stop the ballast from getting, when I pour the ballast on, for it to stop going flying over to the back there. So it's just going to have this sort of on both sides. So that's why I want to start building up the platforms. But I'm so pleased with that. And when you look at it from down this end, it's so much more lengthier and straightforward, and the kinks taken out. So that's going to give me a couple of bonuses. It's going to just make it look like a nice sweeping station, and it's also going to give me a little bit more speed through the station, because it's not going to have that awkward sort of point that was there in the middle there, sort of about there somewhere. And I'm now considering doing the same to this end as well, where I've got this back-to-back point here. And I'm now thinking of taking this out, because I'm going to be off for a couple of weeks from next week. I'm still working next week, but it's the week after I start. I'm on holiday for a couple of weeks. So I'm going to have a bit more time. And what I'll do is, sorry, just so you can get an idea, get rid of some of this rubbish that's here, is what I'm thinking is I might actually put a curved point in here and bring it in and join it in from here. So again, you haven't got this sort of awkward bit of coming out here and then into here and into there. So if I can just bring that line straight through and connect it onto there, then obviously it will again it will be a lot smoother, and it will give me a bit more speed. And I don't particularly like the idea of having these points back to back like this. I really don't like that, but it does work, but I'm not really overly comfortable with it. So hopefully again, it will create more speed and better reliability over here, and also another train length as well. So I might even be able to start getting like about 5 or 6 coaches in here by doing that, because at the moment this end of the platform here is kind of wasted because of the way that where this HST test unit is. If I pull it further back, then obviously you've got the whole kind of clipping issue and the rubbing issue that you're going to get. So if I was to straighten this out, then obviously I could get another coach in here. So you would get another 1 foot in here. So this station can end up potentially being quite a long station compared to what it was, and make it a lot smoother. And I do love this sweeping curve of this station as well. So the next part of this is going to be to start building up the platform area here. So I know what I'm going to do now. Now, I was thinking of having the overbridge as before, sweeping around this corner, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I think I'm just going to have it a straight run, straight across, just up there, like that. And then you can get to see more of the platform and stuff like that. And maybe do some more nice scenery bit here. I'm not sure yet. So we're going to see what we can do, but we're going to start building up the platform now. So that's my next job, but that's after lunch. So now I've laid the track. The next thing I want to do is I've added some masking tape to cover up some of the holes, so that I've drilled before, to make sure that when I come to do the ballast, nothing falls through. But what I need to do is basically work my way from the back to the front. So what I need to do is splice in a new piece of wall here, and then basically work my way, like I said, from the back to the front, and create a new wall that will run all the way along to the join here, as is before, to disguise the two bits. And also, what I need to do also is start thinking about the platform as well. So once I start building up the platform, then I can start doing the ballasting and all the rest of it, and leveling out the track and all the rest of it. So that's why I need to work my way from the back first, because I need to get an idea of the shape of the platform and how far it's going to be. And I've already got the more engineer's blue brick, so hopefully the colour matches exactly the same. I mean, it's from a different batch, because obviously I did this a long time ago. So I'm hoping that the colour is still pretty much the same, and I'll be able to splice in a new section of wall here. So as you can see here, I'm just knocking up a new wall, and what I'm doing is just having a bit of some splice plates here. As you can see, I've got my glue gun, and absolutely brilliant piece of equipment. Got to be careful with it though, because it gets really, really hot very, very quickly. So you have to be careful not to burn yourself and stuff like that. So just to give you a heads up as to what I'm doing, basically I'm splicing in a new piece of wall. As you can see, I've got this bit here, which I've just acted on and glue gunned that into the back. And then basically, just to marry it up with this piece of wall here, I just glue onto that so it's spliced in, so it's all seamless. And I'm going to do another piece on this side as well. As you can see there, I've got another piece of card, which I'm just going to quickly just do in front of you so you can see what I'm doing. You just put a bit of glue together on that, and basically you're just splicing it together, and then that's now ready to go. The only thing you get with these glue guns is you do get a lot of this kind of like, it's almost like fine hair almost. So the idea of this is this gets spliced into there, that's where that's going there. And then at this end, if I just pan you around here, this then goes under here, and so it goes like that, if you can sort of see what I'm doing. And then what this does is, first of all, you get the splice out, it's got the wall there, it separates the in from the out, and also once this is glued in, I can put the brick paper on here, which I've got, and that will actually provide some additional support for when the bridge goes up and over, so that adds a little bit of extra support on the top there as well. So that's kind of where we're going with that. But at the moment, I was just trying to see exactly where, because I need to make the platform up, so what I can do is when I do the ballasting, I can let it go off overnight and stuff like that once it's all leveled out, and I know exactly where to put the ballast and where I'm putting the platforms, and I know where everything's pretty much going to go. So I'm just going to carry on with this, and I'll see you in a minute. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll quickly just splice in this bit as well. And all you have to do is hold it for just literally a few seconds, and then that's pretty much taken up. And like I said, what I'll do is I've got these little sort of buttresses that I made up previously, and I'll just carry it on, and that will disguise that joint there, so you won't even see it. And then that is pretty much that on that side. So I'm going to end up gluing up this side. So I'll just carry on and I'll get back to you. So I've now fitted the wall, and I've put a bead of glue all the way down the bottom. I've spliced it in on the both ends. I've glued it in on the back side of this. Spliced it in at this end, so this is going nowhere. And if you can see, there's actually a bit of a gap there. Now, and you can also see that there's a bit of Oasis block. This is what I've used before. Now, I'm going to show you how easy it is to manipulate this and to cut it and everything just here right now. I'm just going to, this happens to be a triangular piece. I'm just going to fit it in. And as you can see, it is pretty, fits in pretty nicely, but it is slightly out. So I've got a sharp knife. Look, it's just one-handed. Look, my other hand's here. And you can cut through this quite easily. And there you go. Just like that. Now I'm only using this just to provide a bit of stability in the back, and also not only that, is that also what it means is that I can plant some trees into this, and I hope you can see it. But it's so, I'm just trying to get it right down to the end because there's a bit of a gap there. So that's why I just, you can just see, you just take a slice, it's like you're slicing bread, and then you keep trimming it and you keep trimming it till you get to where you want to be. And as you can see, there's holes in it already where I've been sort of like, where I'd reused it. Like I said, it's just literally just slicing into it. And then I've got some more pieces here, which I've got, but I'm just trying to see what I can and can't use, because see, that will work. But again, that's got an edge to it, and literally just in seconds, you've kind of got this kind of like, doesn't have to be perfect. And it's just so easy to work with. There you go, it's like that. You can just plonk your trees down, and you know, you just cover it up. And then what you can do is just to blend that in a bit better. It's just, and that just comes right off, like so. There you go. And a little bit there, that was feeling a bit dodgy, but. And again, that provides support along the back. And then when you go to plant your trees, it's like, look, you just plant it. So that's that bit. And I'm just used, this is old Oasis blocks. That's why it's really useful to keep them. Just rummaging around, I've got a whole, as you can see in here, I've got a whole load of them. I'm going to throw some foliage on it. Now, it doesn't matter that this is a little bit uneven for this purposes, because it doesn't need to be. So what I'm going to do is going to chuck a load of glue. And it doesn't matter if it runs down, because if it runs down, all it will do is it will just connect with the wall and add another bond. So I'm really not that bothered about this. Is all that just because at the end of the day, we're going to put some trees on and do what we've done down the end there, which is have trees overhanging the edge, so you're not going to really see. This is just basic ground cover. And I've just got some old stuff here that I can use just to do some basic ground cover in some of the areas. Like I said, it doesn't have to be brilliant. See, like I said, all the unevenness you're not really going to see. I'm not going to go as far as here, because here's where the bridge is going to come up and over. So I'll put some of the thicker stuff down the back. Like I said, the trees are going to go up and over this anyway. This is just like an initial sort of ground cover. So that's why it doesn't matter about the unevenness, because you're not going to see it. And like I said, this is almost just quick sort of scenery work. And sometimes it's better like that. Sometimes you can overthink these things, and I'm just literally just chucking it all on. So now you can see what we've done so far. And now I'm just going to start marking out the platform there on platform 2. And I've just got this, which is called sugar paper. And you get it from any craft shop. I think I paid about 78p. And as you can see, it's a well-used sugar paper. I've used it before. And what I'm going to do is create a template, which I probably should have done before I did the what's it? The foliage. Now, as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm just creating the template using my finger, just rubbing it, and I'm rubbing it up against the tracks as well, against the edge of the track. And then you can sort of see an outline taking shape, and then basically you cut to the lines you've just created. So I'm just going to do that. I don't know if you can see it. You can see the lines that I've created. Oh, it's at the top there. And I'll show it to you in just a jiffy. So as you can see here, so I'll pull it out a bit so you can see it a bit better probably. That's better. That basically, I've now got the sugar paper here. And this is just the first cut, because there are always many cuts when doing this, because this is just to get you in the ballpark of where you want to extend it. And then I'm looking at this and I want to marry it up with this line here, with what I've already here. And obviously, if you get too close to the rails, then your coaches will probably rub up against it. So you're just sort of, I'm looking, and I'm just know that you sort of probably go roughly about a centimetre or so in, and I'm just drawing a new pencil line in to see where I want this to go. And as you can see, I'm already creating a pencil line, and here I'm just sort of taking out a shallow and I'm just marrying up. It's just done totally freehand. Now the reason why I'm doing this is going to be like the top section, so I know what the top section is, because the thing being is that if I put the platform sides and the formers in here, like for example, if I just sort of look at it like this, you sort of put these formers in to hold the platform on the right height. If you do that first, then it's more difficult to get the top in the right position. So it's easier whilst you've got a flat piece of board to actually do the top first, then do the formers first. So don't do the sides or the formers first, just do the top first, because it's easier to get the template and the shape right now than it is afterwards. So I've now got that, and we'll cut that and we'll see how that fits and see whether that fits any better. So we are now pretty much where I think it's going to be, and that brings it in line with what I've already done over at this side here. So now what I need to do is translate this onto a piece of foam board. And for those of you who don't know what foam board is, I will show you what foam board is. So foam board is this stuff here. You can get it from the art shop, and there's two thicknesses that I get from my art shop. There's this thickness, and then there's this whole sheet that I've just purchased, which is just, I don't know if you can see it, but it's basically an A3 sheet. But you can see that the thickness is actually shallower and thinner than what's on that one down there. So I'm going to use the thicker one because I've got offcuts. So like this is an offcut. So I'm going to use like something like this to do the sides because this is thicker, so it provides greater support for the top to sit on. So you can use it like I said, like before. Use the glue gun and glue it into place, and then you can just do that, and then afterwards make the formers thereafter. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to use this bit here for the sides and for the formers on the inside, and then I'll put this top onto the thinner piece because that is what I've used here. So obviously I don't want there to be a step, so I want to marry up with this one. And also I'm going to splice another little bit in there to make sure that it will sit level. And then after I put probably a bit of filler in there, fill it in, and then paint it over, and you won't really know. Unless I get the colours completely wrong, which I probably will do because it's actually a hand mixed colour. But we'll see how we get on. So the next stage will be to start creating the formers here and seeing how we get on with that. So as you can see, I'm back out with the glue gun again. And just to point out that this cable here that you can see, there's a cable just running there. It's important to have. Well, I say it is important. It's for me, actually. I just enjoy it. I have some music going on in the background, and that just allows me to give me some motivation to get on and crack on with things. But as you can see, it's all been shaped up and it's ready to go. It's not glued in yet because I'm still doing the formers, as you can see, on the ends there, in the middle, just to give it some support in the middle. I've also added a splice right down the end, so it will sit level with the piece right next to it to give that some support between the joints. And I'm just working my way through, and then I'll be doing the same on the other side. So once I get it all done, I will show you how far I've got. So speak to you soon. So as you can see now, both the extensions of the platforms have been fitted. So slowly catchy monkey, we're slowly getting there. But I'm really pleased with what we've done. It's not going to take me too much longer to really finish this kind of extension here. But it's, as you can see, it's about 1.5 feet or so on this piece, bottom piece. And on the top piece, I think it's about another 2 feet or so. So, or just under. So it's really does make a huge amount of difference. And if I end up extending the other end, then that would be great on the bottom platform. So it's a well worth exercise, worth doing, because now it will just sort of give me the length that I need. As you can see, it's just kind of smoothed it out and gives me a nice sweeping all the way down to the end. So the next stage is really to be sort of, so now because it's got the walling in off the platform sides, I can now do the ballasting later on at some point, knowing that it's not going to go where the ballast isn't going to go anywhere where I don't want it to go. So I'm really pleased with that. So that's working out really nicely. Incidentally, the reason why I'm using the sort of black sleeper, wooden sleeper track is actually because it's come from the fiddle yard. Because I'm actually going to be doing a bit of rework from there anyway, so I thought I could just use those pieces rather than just go out and spend some more money on some extra pieces. I mean, this is effectively brand new track because it was never ballasted, so that's kind of one of the reasons for doing that. And like I said, not all of it is completely done yet, so it doesn't matter. I'm really pleased with it. You can just see what I've been doing, and so yeah, there's a difference. So I'm really pleased with everything so far. So the next stage is, like I said, is going to be to get some grills in, and then I can do some ballasting around it, and then hopefully it'll look really different and look really good actually when it's finished. I'm really looking forward to seeing the end result at this end, and I think it's just going to be such a nice viewing. I mean, it was always quite nice down here. It's always one of my favourite places to sort of record when the trains come sweeping through the corner, and it just kind of looks really, really smart. And it's a nice, gentle sweeping curve. It's not anything too harsh like on some of my corners, for example, leading out of here. So yeah, we'll get there in the end. So like I said, the next job will be to carry on and do some painting, and it will slowly come together. So as you can see, we've now moved on a fair bit. But what I'm showing you is nothing too difficult. Essentially, I've done the walling and I've done the platforms as you saw from before. But now what I've done is, I'm not going to show you painting them or ballasting, because that kind of stuff you guys know how to do, and it's just a bit of a waste of time just showing you, because you know how to do that kind of thing. It's just going to be too boring. But as you can see, I've ballasted it. I've also added some catch pits. These came from Gary over at Cheeky Tech. They come in 2 pieces. I haven't actually painted them up yet. That's one of the things I need to do. As you can see, like I said, I've added the Engineer's Blue Brick from Metcalfe, which is this. So I've done that to the walling. I've also added some Plastistruct. That's the code there. And that's what I've used for the platform edging. So that's that. So I've also added another wall here. And the trees have come from whatever trees were here. I'm going to get another box of trees. We're going to add some more trees. But for now, because this was already done, I just left well enough alone. So just to finish this little area, I've just added some trees here. And as you can see, I've now added a new bridge, but instead of it curving around like it did before and come down here, I've just added it. So as you can see, it just comes straight across. Now, as you can see, I haven't finished it by any stretch of the imagination. It's just an offcut of foam board, which I had from what I made the platforms from. So the sheet of foam board that I made, that I used to make this platform and the rest of this platform, the remainder of it, I'll just use it as the bridge. And then what I've also done is, if I take it out, I had some I-beam, and I've used that, and I've just sort of used that just to A, strengthen it, and B, give it a bit of detail. And then in that way, it's, there we go. When the trains go under, there is actually some detail under there. I just did it in the black that I had. It probably shouldn't be glossy, but I can always matte it down with some varnish. But then again, like I said, I haven't really finished the bridge yet. So as you can see, I've now added all the trees and done the walling. I've also added a bit more signage, some lampposts. The lampposts are now working in conjunction with all the others. So now the whole station at this end is now lit up as well. I've still got some more signage to add and stuff and advertising. I just put some 4 stop car markers over there. There's one on this side, and then there's one where the 4TC is. I can't remember if I've showed you these, but I've now painted up the catch pits. These come over from Gary from Cheeky Tech in 2 pieces. And this is what they look like. Then you just install those. I've still got a few of those that I can install. And now I'm going to be turning my attention now. So this end has now been extended to its farmost reach, as you can see, with the 4TC. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start working on this end here. Now, like I said, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but I'm sure I did. But just in case I haven't, just so you can see the track plan as it currently stands. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this because I like this and this bit. This is the railings that I've been using for over here, but I had been using them along here, but I don't like them because I keep knocking into them and then they keep splitting and breaking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on the blue brick walling all the way across from there, and then I'm going to marry it off up to that one, and that will finish off the station there. So back over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a curved point, which I've already bought. That will go into there. That will then straighten out into the second platform, removing this point here, which I will no longer need. That will make it a lot smoother and just make it easier for the trains to come in from this end here. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. So that is my next plan of action, but I've got to move this 40C out the way. So as you can see, I've now added in this walling. So that goes all the way along here. It needs to be finished. It isn't finished yet. I need to do the tops, and I need to carry on with the vegetation just to tidy up this bottom edge here. But I ran out of foliage, so I need to go and buy some more sponge, make some more foliage, and then I can finish off this little area here so it tidies up the edge. And then as you can see from here, I've left this as it is, but you can now see I've now done the track plan and now added it in and reconfigured the track plan so it's a lot smoother now and runs straight into here. If I take out this station building for a moment, you can see where I've just trimmed it back. So obviously it used to come into sort of here where you can see this line here. So the point used to come across here, or the turnout I should say. But luckily when I did this bit and I jutted it out, it was all made out of foam board, so it came out really easily. One of the good ways and good things about using foam board is that it's easy to remove. So literally just pared it back, and now it's all just literally just a straight line along here. So I've now got to finish off the edging of that as well. I've added some more of the catch pits, so they're all done and ready to go. I need to do the wiring so I can then test it. So it hasn't been wired or tested yet. But what this now means is that by taking this point out and moving it back there, that means, whereas before I couldn't get this coach all the way to the back end of the platform, if it overhangs slightly, it's not going to matter too much. I'm thinking of extending it a little bit further, but I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if it's worth doing. So I'm just going to run some trains and do some testing with it to see whether it's worth it. But at least from this point of view, you've now gained literally a foot here. You've literally gained a whole coach. If you just look at that, that's the coach there. So if you say up to that line there, and that used to go in, you couldn't. You'd have to stop there. You've literally gained a whole coach now there, so from that end. So overall, I've gained another 2 coaches on this near side platform, and I think another 2 coaches on this far side platform as well, on platform 2. So that's where we're at the moment. So like I said, I'm going to do some more tweaking along here. And like I said, we could do some more. Got to do some wiring and then do some testing before I can sort of ballast it. But yeah, it's looking all good now. And as you can see, although I've done all the track work and reconfigured the track work, the essence of St Anne Station is exactly the same. It hasn't really changed in terms of its character. It's still the same character that it had before, and I haven't lost any of it, and it's still the same, and it still looks good. And essentially still the same. Like I said, it's just been extended out slightly, but essentially the character's the same. So there you go.